Good morning, it is Farmers Market Day, the first one for us in 2025. It's 6 a.m., let's go make some money. So the plan for today is to do two farmers markets, Worthington and Clintonville. I'm in my pickup truck just ahead of the Worthington truck. I am going to help Emma set up at Worthington. It's just going to be a very small setup. And at 8 o'clock, I should be done, have her up and running. That's when the market starts. And then I will drive 5 miles south on High Street to the Clintonville Farmers Market. Clintonville is kind of in between Worthington and the Ohio State University campus. And my daughter, Natalie, should be arriving right about that time. Clintonville doesn't start till 9 a.m. Worthington starts at 8, so it works out perfect. I'll have time to get Emma up and running and then help my daughter, Natalie, set up at Clintonville and get her up and running by 9 a.m. Even though we don't have a lot of produce to sell today, mainly just some grape tomatoes and some green tomatoes and some herbs and my brother's syrup, it's still good to get the ball rolling, kind of a soft opening, just to make sure we know exactly where our spaces are at the farmers markets. You know, if they've moved up or down one space, you know, this is a good time to get that figured out when we don't have a lot of produce. And it's a great time for me to go, you know, help them get started for this very first one, just to make sure we have all the bugs ironed out and that there's no issues. And that way everything's good to go when we really do have a lot of product next Saturday on the 24th, I hope. I still think we're going to be a little short next weekend, but we should be okay to at least start up another market or maybe even two more. But I think we're going to hold off on our mobile produce trailer until that first Saturday in June, most likely. Or no, there's another Saturday in May, I forgot, May 31st. That's when I plan to start our mobile produce trailer, and every market will be up and running for Wishwell Farms on May 31st. So I've gotten a lot of comments over the years about why we grow hydroponic tomatoes. Why don't we grow them in the soil? Or why do we even have greenhouse tomatoes? And I'm going to elaborate on that real briefly here for you. We used to grow all of our greenhouse tomatoes in the soil. We had moderate success. And then I had an opportunity to buy someone's hydroponic system in 2005 that actually set up a couple stands down from me at Worthington. So I was good friends with him. I always talked about how things were going because we were the only two at the Worthington Farmers Market with tomatoes. And I bought his system. I was amazed at how the yields dramatically increased, and there was no change in the look or flavor or the bricks, the sugar levels, because I have a tester to test the bricks in the tomatoes. There was no difference at all. So we switched everything over to hydroponic and never looked back. And the main reason we have these early tomatoes is just for having that early product at the farmers market so we can get started in May and have something to sell. I don't want to sell flowers, bedding plants, potted plants. I don't like those things. I actually despise flowers, perennials and annuals and all that stuff. I want nothing to do with those. I did all those in the past, like 15 to 20 years ago, and I have my fill of that. So I want to sell only produce, fruits and vegetables. So this allows us to start bringing in some revenue in May. I used to start my tomatoes a little earlier, and we would normally start harvesting in mid-April and have a nice little stockpile to start our very first farmers markets that last Saturday of April. But that Saturday and the first couple in May are very volatile. The customers are just now starting to come out for the outdoor market season. The weather can be inclement. I've had wind, rain, sleet, bitter cold weather. I've had beautiful days like this. So you don't know what you're going to get at the end of April and early May. So we decided to just start our markets about that third Saturday in May. It just seems to work better for us. And we'll be the only ones with tomatoes at the farmers markets all through June and nearly all through July until you start seeing some high tunnel tomatoes show up. And then by mid-August, we're in full production in our field tomatoes, our soil-grown field tomatoes, and that's when we will terminate our greenhouse tomatoes. And we don't like to mix those tomatoes. They're just too different. And you know, the size starts going down on the greenhouse tomatoes, and you just can't beat a soil-grown field tomato. I am fully aware of that, and you can tell the difference. But having that tomato for the early market for these first 2 months is huge for us. It allows us to start generating some cash flow, paying down some operating loan debt, and just making a living. You know, this time of year, I'm nearly broke. Went through the whole winter with no income. So it's critical that we get rolling here about this time of year so I can start making some money. We are entering Old Worthington. And right up here to the right is where I'll be turning to get on High Street. And you'll start to see some market tents here and there as people begin setting up for the Saturday farmers market. So this intersection right here is Route 161 and US Route 23, which is High Street. And we have 4 green common areas in this intersection. And these 2 right here on both sides of my truck will all be full of vendors setting up and selling their products. And the main part of the farmers market is right here. See these traffic cones? This is our space right here where these 2 little ledges are, right in front of Denig Jewelers. And here's Emma, she just arrived. All right, we have our stand completely set up. I'll take you around and show you everything we have today. It's a very small condensed stand from normal, but it'll kind of give you the idea of, you know, how we set up here, what it looks like here at the Worthington Farmers Market, which is our biggest one in our lineup of farmers markets. One of the bigger ones in Ohio. They would rival anything in Cincinnati or Cleveland. And I think it got rated pretty high as a nationally renowned farmers market. So this is an awesome place. Let me show you what we got here today. All right, so this is a look at our booth. We have 2 spaces here. From that ledge, we actually can use this ledge. When we start having melons and things, we will line them up on this ledge. And then we have ledges back there in the back. And our space goes all the way to here. So we have space 20 and 21, but today we're only using 1 space. And we have our tents turned a different direction. Normally we have them turned this direction and we put 2 tents out. But since we have limited supply today, we decided just to get by with 1 tent, and we only have Emma working here today. So there's no reason for us to have 2 tents here. All right, we'll start right here. These are some leftover tomato plants that we potted up into mum pots. We're gonna start out at 20 bucks a plant, but we'll lower that to 15 if they are not selling. Like I said, we kept all of our red tomatoes at home, stockpiling for next week, but we just brought a few boxes of green tomatoes. This is our sweet pepper relish, our hot sweet pepper relish, grape tomatoes. And then this is how we set up our sales area. We will put a scales on each side and have 2 checkout lines when we increase the diameter or the width of our stand. We always have our Wishwell banner hung up back there. They put a booth sign up for us. I always put several credit card signs up, our YouTube sign, our Facebook sign, and a couple other credit card signs. Over here we have our cilantro, parsley, oregano, basil, and a few more of those big tomatoes. We did bring some sandbags today for the tents because they are predicting 20-mile-an-hour winds by noon. This is my brother's syrup, Joel. We have lots of different flavors here. Vanilla, cinnamon, chai, coffee, and bourbon. That is a really popular one. And then an assortment of sizes of our regular maple syrup. We always have a bag rack with large bags, our small pull and pack bags, and we normally only have 2 credit card machines here, but I brought 3 just to make sure they're all up and running and working and ready to go. And there's our money box that we hide behind this tote where our customers line up so they can't see the cash. All right, all finished up here at Worthington. Now I'm heading down the road 5 miles to Clintonville to give my daughter a hand. Things are bustling around here now. This is the Grader's parking lot area over here, and they pack like 20 or 30 tents into that small area. You can see a bunch of them right here, and we're lined up all the way down 3 city blocks on both sides of the road. It's a massive farmer's market. When we're in full swing, we're around 150 vendors, I believe. And now we're coming to the end of the market here. All right, I am pulling in here to the AutoZone parking lot, which is where our stand is here at the Clintonville Farmers Market. And it looks like my daughter just got here. She is getting ready to set the tent up. This is our space right here. All right, we just about have everything set up here. Just like Worthington, we only used 1 tent here instead of 2, but turned the tent the other direction to be 15 feet wide. Normally we'll have 2 side by side and have 20 foot of frontage. So we got our big tomatoes out front here.
Good morning.
Our relish, our herbs, checkout area, Joel's syrup, some green tomatoes, and grape tomatoes. And since we put our tent the other direction, it made it harder to put our banner here because it was going to be right where Natalie was standing to check out. So we just attached it to the tent, to the truck, and I think it looks all right. A lot of plants here today. And this market goes about 2 blocks, well, at least 1 block down that way. All right, my work is done here at Clintonville and Worthington. I am heading home back to the farm to take care of the greenhouses. Well, I made it home from Columbus, got all my greenhouses checked, and now I'm just awaiting the arrival of my 2 box trucks to return home from the farmers markets. I realize I didn't show you guys much of the farmers markets today, but like I mentioned earlier, it was kind of just a soft opening for us to get the ball rolling. But I plan on showcasing a lot of farmers market footage for you guys this summer, so stay tuned for that. I think I'm actually going to take a little time off this afternoon because it is too windy to spray, too muddy to lay plastic, and too muddy to plant. So I'm kind of at a standstill until we get some more sunny, warm weather to dry things out. This is where we're going to wrap this one up today, folks. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you all again next time down on the farm.